Two of the worst teams in the NFL right now will face off in Germany in November. Fans from Charlotte are making the trip to cheer on the Carolina Panthers, and so are a group of elected leaders and public officials from Charlotte. Their planned, mostly taxpayer-backed trip abroad comes just 4 months after the city council gave the team's owner $650 million to help renovate Bank of America Stadium. Thank you for joining us here on WCNC Plus. I'm Jane Monreal. With me, of course, investigative reporter Nate Morabito. Nate, thank you for another appearance here.
Always glad to talk about my work.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, what's the point of this trip?
All right, so there's a football game happening in Munich, Germany. So that's number one. Elected leaders are going to this football game to watch the Carolina Panthers play the New York Giants. They also say, though, that's really more the excuse to be there. The whole point of this trip is twofold beyond the game: economic development. Can we retain and recruit German businesses? I didn't know this, but actually there are more businesses here in Charlotte in the region from Germany than any other country. So there's about 250 German businesses.
Wow.
So they say they want to retain those and maybe recruit more to come over. And they also want to look at housing, mobility, sustainability, what another major urban city is doing to tackle those issues, kind of in search of solutions. And of course, there is the game on Sunday. So they will work leading up to the game, I'm told, and then attend the game.
Okay.
And then see what happens from there.
All right. Well, it has been a difficult process for you to get any information from the city, right, on this this story. Walk us through the process.
Frustrating, for sure, because this is public information. So I receive a tip. This is how it works. I receive a tip that City Council and an unidentified number of city staff are going overseas. And so I'm just trying to find out basic information. Well, who's going? Number one. How many people are going? Who's going? Who's booked hotel rooms? Who's booked flights? Can I have those records? You know, basic information. I started asking about this more than a week ago. All right. And I gave a deadline of 10 a.m. this morning to the city. And as of 10 a.m., they had not provided me the names of the council members going. Now, I knew there were 8 going because I interviewed some council members, you're going to hear from one of them in a second, who told me that there are 8 going. That means 2/3 of the council are going. But we still don't know how many staff are going because the city has not released that information. Anyways, they missed our deadline. We published a story on WCNC.com revealing what we know so far. You know, my reporting involves talking to a lot of people, so we have a lot of information, but not the names, not how many people are going. We published the story. Within an hour, the city gives us the name of the council members going. But we're still waiting to figure out the names of the city staff members going. So we really don't know how many people are going there. And the real question becomes, how many people do you really need to send to Germany backed by taxpayers? And I ask that question. You can listen right now. The number of people going, people are going to say, do they really need to send that many people?
Well, we're an international city, right? And we're representing the city of Charlotte, one of the top 15, 16 city in the country. There's a wide variety of individuals who have many touch points. For an example, touch point being housing, touch point being economic development, touch point being sustainability and public safety. And so I think it demonstrates the importance of this international relationships. It demonstrates the importance of the companies that we already have here in Charlotte that are from Germany. And so I think it's an opportunity for us to cement those relationships, to expand them further, and for us to educate the entire community here in City Hall who have various touch points that they have.
All right, so that's Malcolm Graham.
Right.
He's the chairman of the Economic and Jobs Committee for the Charlotte City Council. And to his credit, when I asked him to do an interview about this, he said yes.
Okay.
The same day, he sat down, he answered our questions. He did not withhold information from us, but the city of Charlotte internally did about the names of those council members going.
Okay, and he pretty much said what you were talking about. We have a big city, we're looking at housing and all that. So how about the leaders then planning to the other 1/3 planning to stay in Charlotte during this trip? What are they saying?
So essentially there's 4 of them, including the mayor. They're staying home. Councilwoman Tijuana Brown, you're going to hear from her in a second, who just says, what does this look like when the public sees us go overseas and spend money to basically be in Germany for several days that culminates with this game? And I will tell you, the city attorney recently said if council members are going to go to the game, they have to buy their own ticket at this point, because let's be real, it's not a business purpose. It's more entertainment. And so with that in mind, how much money is the city going to spend, and what is it going to look like for those people that elected me council member who may be struggling, who can't even leave the state, travel out of the state? Take a listen.
For me, in my platform, in my constituents, it would not be in my best interest to go. And so my colleagues have talked about an agenda. They've talked about great things that they're going to go over and find out about what's happening in Munich. And Munich is a great city. They're doing some wonderful things. Maybe they can pick up on some things and bring them back. But as for me and my platform that I ran off of, the constituents that put me in the seat, I declined to go.
Because of the way it would look and the amount of resources being spent, or?
Yeah, so I could say that. So for me, once again, you know, I'm one of 11. I would say that for me, if my constituents were to look at concerns that's going on in Steel Creek right now, there's unsheltered population growing in Steel Creek, and I'm working on executing CARE's team and trying to keep people from out of incarceration. So I would think for myself that we could allocate funding over there in Steel Creek and other areas. West Boulevard, want to clean up the 1500 block of West Boulevard and accolade resources over there. So yeah, for me, it wouldn't look good for me. And I think that I made a wise decision.
And I would imagine her constituents have that same point of view. So what are taxpayers paying? What's the bill here?
Well, we're still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Shocker. We know that council members will be on the hook for the actual game tickets, but we don't know how much has been spent on hotels or flights at this point. Even though we requested those records, we're told that maybe next week before we get them. But we did look back into 2020 before the pandemic. 6 members, including city council and city staff from Charlotte, went over to Paris for the Charlotte Hornets game. And that trip for 6 cost $17,000. So that was 6 people. We're talking about 8 council members plus could be several city staff. I'm told several are going. So we'll be following up to figure out how much it costs. But you know, you're going to hear from the people that are going that this is a wise investment. It's going to pay for itself over time, and I think that's what you'll hear.
All right. So you also said that they did Paris. So obviously, a trip like this has happened before.
Well, and they also, let's not forget, just gave $650 million to the Carolina Panthers owner, David Tepper, to help renovate Bank of America Stadium. And so now, not long, just months after that, how does this look to the public? Does it look like some council members are just a little bit too cozy to the Panthers owner? And that is what the Taxpayers Protection Alliance has said. You can listen to them right now.
Yeah, it's another sad use of taxpayer resources, especially when you're asking for $650 million of taxpayer funds to renovate this new stadium, and then you're out offshoring home games to Germany, and then the taxpayers are funding you to go visit that. It's just a bad look, politically speaking. And again, the promise of economic development at any point in time, Charlotte leaders can go and do fundraising development missions, as it were, to Germany. This is the taxpayers funding these people to go see a football game. That's what it is, plainly and simply. These trips are available to them at any point in time. It all centers around the football game. It's not a good look, especially in the midst of this recent $650 million renovation deal.
And that will be a point of contention. I know you're still waiting for the answers, and hopefully we'll get those.
And here's the thing, Jane. Let's just have a fair debate about it. Let's have all the information so the public can decide what's right and what's wrong. And that is the real issue here. We don't have all the information. How are you supposed to come up with a conclusion if you don't even know how many people are going?
Yeah, people are going to keep on speculating.
That's what happens here.
Yep.
This is the way to stop speculation, is just to give all
Clear
the
it
information
out.
to the public and
Clear it out.
make it clear. Yep.
All right. Nate, thank you very much. And more of a reminder for you, WCNC Charlotte wants to hold government agencies accountable for how they use taxpayer money. So if you have something we should investigate, email us the details at money@wcnc.com.